No fuss, no tears, and no public confirmations that would cause a social media storm. But a seemingly ordinary statement from Jamie Dornan in a recent interview was enough to leave fans speechless. He didn't mention names directly, didn't talk about the tumultuous past, but everyone understood he was referring to Dakota Johnson. Fog, there are feelings I've never named. In an intimate interview, Jamie slowly shared. There are people who enter your life quietly, but leave a lasting impression. I've kept that to myself, because sometimes, silence is the most beautiful form of respect. The room fell silent for a few seconds. The host didn't ask any further questions, but the audience understood perfectly. Those weren't words for an ordinary co-star. Clapperboard more than co-stars, a special bond. Throughout their collaboration on 50 Shades, Jamie and Dakota consistently impressed the crew with their rare understanding. No extensive rehearsals, no lengthy explanations, a single glance was enough to capture each other's emotions. A fictitious source revealed. Jamie once said that Dakota was the only person who made him feel like himself on set. No pressure, no defenses. Heartbreak. Why never did he say it? Jamie didn't shy away from the question. He simply smiled softly. There are feelings so beautiful that if you name them at the wrong time, they will no longer be intact. That answer left fans both moved and conflicted. Was there a love that never blossomed? Or a bond that transcended love? Something they both chose to keep secret to protect each other? Globe social media explodes. We were right from the start. Immediately after the interview went viral, the fan community split into two distinct camps. Fire. One side believed the feelings were real, just never expressed at the right time. Crying. The other side lamented a relationship that was the right person at the wrong time. Hashtags related to Jamie and Dakota quickly topped search trends, with thousands of comments all asking the same question. If things had been different that day, would things have been different? Sparkles. The truth, even without confirmation, still moves people. Jamie Dornan didn't say, "I love you." Dakota Johnson didn't speak either. But sometimes, silence speaks volumes. And perhaps what fans can't forget isn't a clear confession, but a beautiful love, never exploited for fame, never turned into a scandal. Right finger. A belated statement, but enough to make the whole world stop and listen. Fire. Next part. When Dakota Johnson speaks. After her statement that shocked the entire fan community, Dakota Johnson finally appeared in a private interview. No press conference, no red carpet, just a small room and questions that weren't easy to answer. The host had just mentioned Jamie Dornan's name when Dakota paused slightly. She didn't smile, nor did she evade the question. There are people, you will carry them in your heart, even if your paths no longer cross. Just one short sentence, but enough to spark all sorts of theories. Speech balloon. We never lied to the audience. Dakota didn't confirm the relationship, nor did she deny the feelings. Instead, she chose to speak the truth, in her own way. What people see on screen is real. Those emotions aren't scripted, but real life is much more complicated. That statement was an indirect admission. There are feelings, there is attachment, there is something beyond the boundaries of co-star. Mantelpiece clock. Wrong timing. The most haunting phrase. When asked if she regretted it, Dakota looked down at her hands, silent for a few seconds. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: not every beautiful relationship needs a proper ending. At that moment, many fans confessed they shed tears. Not because of the tragedy, but because of the regretful maturity. Tornado fan reactions. Love, regret, controversy. That same night, Fire couple fans assert they loved each other, they just couldn't. Heartbreak. Another group argues this is respect, not tragedy. High voltage controversy erupts around the question: if they had spoken sooner, would things have been different? Social media is flooded with clips analyzing their gazes, gestures, and old behind-the-scenes moments, all viewed through a completely new lens. Sparkles. What was never said, turned out to be the truest. No confirmation. No official statement. But for the first time, both spoke about the same emotion, in two different ways. And perhaps, that's why this story resonated with millions. Not because of the scandal, but because it's so real. Fearful face. Next part. Jamie Dornan breaks his silence again. No press conference. No red carpet. Just a late-night chat, when the cameras were almost off. But it was at that moment that Jamie Dornan said something that made everyone restless. He took a deep breath, his voice lower than usual. I don't regret being silent. I only regret that some things, if I had said them sooner, might have been different. That short statement was immediately linked by fans to Dakota Johnson. Scandal, wrong timing, but not entirely untrue. Jamie emphasized the word timing for the first time. There are very real feelings. But life doesn't give you the right to choose everything at once, neither denying nor confirming. But it's clear enough to confirm, right finger, what he and Dakota shared wasn't just acting. Shushing face. The private meeting mentioned for the first time. When asked if he and Dakota were still in contact, Jamie smiled subtly, a smile that caught the audience's attention. We talked, not to dig up the past, but to close it in the kindest way possible. That one sentence alone was enough to stir up the fans. Could there have been a private meeting where they said things they'd never said before? Heartbreak, not an unfinished love, but a mature feeling. Jamie concluded with a statement that silenced the studio. I think, love isn't always about holding on. Sometimes it's about letting the other person move on, in peace. No tears, no drama, but more painful than any confession. Globe fans react fiercely. So we were right? After the interview, Fire fans of the couple affirm they were in love, in their own way. Crying many lament. A beautiful story, but it didn't have a chance to blossom. High voltage controversy erupts. Is this the truth or just a clever way of speaking? One thing is certain. Every old moment of Jamie Dakota is now being looked back on with a different perspective. Sparkles what makes this story haunting. Not because of the scandal, not because of the direct confession, but because two people, at two different times, spoke about the same feelings, with respectful silence. Everything seemed to have ended in respectful silence. But then, an unexpected detail emerged, pushing the story to a new climax. In a private backstage conversation, Jamie Dornan admitted he had written a letter, but never sent it. I wrote it knowing that, if I said it, we wouldn't be able to maintain our current peace. The person being referred to, needless to say, is Dakota Johnson. Envelope. The letter's content. No declarations of love, just the truth. According to a fictional source, the letter didn't contain any loud declarations of love. Just short, heartbreakingly sincere lines. Thank you for being the only one who saw me when I didn't need to prove anything. If there's one thing I fear most, it's hurting you by misnaming this feeling. No love, but every fan understood. Heartbreak. Did Dakota read that letter? When asked directly, Dakota was silent for a few long seconds. Then she replied, "There are things I don't need to read on paper to know." The statement stunned the entire crew. Could it be that she already knew everything, a long time ago? Candle. The final meeting. No tears, no reproaches. Another detail revealed for the first time. Jamie and Dakota had a private meeting, without cameras or media. Not to try and reconcile, but to say thank you. We agreed that if something beautiful happens, let it be remembered in the most beautiful way, Jamie shared. Tornado. Social media explodes. This is no longer a rumor. Immediately, Fire fans of the couple affirm. This is real love, just unnamed. Crying. Many admit. This story hurts more than a broken relationship. High voltage controversy escalates. Is silence the right choice? A new hashtag has emerged, spreading like wildfire. Hashtag the letter never sent. Sparkles what makes this story unforgettable. No scandal. No confirmed relationship. Just two mature individuals, choosing not to hurt each other, even though there are still unspoken feelings in their hearts.